I believe Jesus is a metaphorical term in the Bible. I believe people with Christ consciousness kind of also contradict themselves when it comes to, oh, I love Jesus, then they turn around and tell you to go to hell. Favorite witch, medium, and or seer.
Where are you originally from?
I was born in Corpus Christi by Matamoros. That's where I was pretty much raised, by Matamoros. And Havana, St. Lucia. I was raised everywhere.
Okay, so how do you identify ethnically or culturally?
I'm Afro-Latina or Black Latina.
What does that mean?
That means my dad is Cuban and my mother is Cherokee and Black.
Okay, so what was it like growing up where you were from?
What was it like growing up where I'm from? I grew up in the barrio, so we had nothing but cartel, Mexican mafia. We had to learn to mind our business. You see somebody strapped down, you gotta mind your business, or you gonna be in the Ocean X. So, yeah.
Were you raised by both your parents?
No. My mother didn't want me in that drug world. So, even though I grew up in the barrio, she tried to keep me safe as much as possible.
Okay, so who was the most influential person in your life as a child?
My grandmother. I had a lot of tias. Yeah, they're the ones that were most influential. My mother, as well as my grandmother too.
Did spirituality play a role in your upbringing?
Most definitely. I was very religious, but at the same time I was confused because I had a heavy heart, and religion I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the Bible. I didn't understand why the Bible in certain pieces, it contradicted itself. So if I'm going to believe in a faith, I have to know everything about it. So I believe there were 5 different gods in the Bible. And it's crazy because I believe a lot of ancient theologians can agree with this before the Vatican, that there was 5 different gods, maybe 6. And every time gods went to war with Satan, or Baal, should you say, Prince of Light, Satan never killed anyone. Never killed anyone. One of the gods told Saul, go out there and kill everybody in the land, including the animals. So I always wondered, what kind of God does that? What kind of God does that? So I believe there were demigods. So I was confused in religion. I went from Baptist to Pentecostal, went to Catholic churches with my best friend, and nothing was ensuring, especially with the ability and gifts that I had. I always thought it was a curse. So my faith taught me to learn to embrace who I am, when I had faith in religion. So, yeah.
Okay, so do you believe in Jesus?
I believe Jesus is a metaphorical term in the Bible. I believe people with Christ consciousness kind of also contradict themselves when it comes to, oh, I love Jesus, then they turn around and tell you to go to hell. So instead of praying for that person. They could be very judgmental as well. And I don't believe that Jesus wanted that in the Bible. There was a lot of stories, but that story had a lesson, and no one gets the lesson. No one gets the lesson, you know? So, yeah.
Okay. So how would you describe your spiritual practices today?
My spiritual practice are humbling.
What does that mean?
That means this weight have lifted off of me and I'm able to help other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what does that look like?
What does it look like? It's a process. Like it could help a person or hinder a person. So that's the process. It just depends, you know, every time you help a person when you're doing spiritual work, you have to protect yourself first. So my ancestors protect me. I'm an old ancient witch.
So when did you first realize you were spiritually sensitive or gifted?
I was, 5?
What was that experience like?
Well, when you have 7 brothers in Cuba and you're here alone, it's like being an only child, right? Mm-hmm. So that experience was very, I was just, let's put it like this. I was told not to play with myself when I was little because I would see and play with the deceased. Yes.
Wow.
And as I gotten older and I've grown into a medium, I can now, let's say you want me to go to your house, right? To remove your, you know, you have a lot of paranormal activity. So what I do is I go to the house and I take those entities with me that are not for the family, for the house. I take them with me, and you can't take them with you all the time, but I cleanse the house. I cleanse the house. Shout out to Amy Allen. I cleanse the house, and sometimes you could take those entities home with you and give them peace, so that way they can move on.
Oh, so did you ever resist your gifts at first ever?
Of course, I resisted my gifts. Like I said, it felt like a curse, right? So when you feel this all the time on you, it's like, should I be scared of this gift or is it a curse? So, you know, you get the loud voices in your ear. And so ever since I've embraced my spirituality, my medium work, my shadow work, I have, like I said, it's like a veil that has lifted and I'm like in a whole different spectrum. Yeah.
So how did you discover that that you had a family history of witches, mediums, and warlocks?
Well, for one, a lot of my uncles were warlocks. So I didn't understand that part either because it was never told to me when I was younger. I have a lot of family that's a masonry, like they're Masons. And when I discovered it, it was kind of like, why didn't nobody tell me? Y'all know what I was going through getting old, you know, as I grew older, but that was for me to find. You have to pull that source within your inner self. It's like an inner power that you have to pull. So that's what that was. And it was a process as well because you don't know how to, you don't know how it's going to take effect over your life.
So how strong are your cultural ties to your Cuban descent?
Oh, they're very strong. Like, they're very strong. I embrace it. Yeah, even though I don't talk to my father, but I embrace it. So, yeah.
Were you ever raised in Cuba or within the culture?
Growing up, going back and forth until my mother said, no more drugs around her. You know, he was a drug lord. So now my brothers have picked up the business. Yeah.
You say your father was a drug lord?
Yes.
And your brothers picked up the
pretty
business?
much still is. No, not my mother, my brothers.
Your brothers?
My brothers have. And so they know I want to stay away from that. You come visit me. I just had one of my brothers come visit me. I hadn't seen him like in 10 years. So yeah, it's heartbreaking sometimes. So yeah, you know, when you get drugs legally, you know, sent in by, not just by, you know, corrupt prison guards, but by the police, by politicians. Yeah, they like their private stashes.
So back to like your ancestors, you would say they play a major role in your work. So how does that play out for you?
Well, like I said, I'm an old ancient witch, so my ancestors play a big part in my work. So they protect me. Before I start working on anyone, or you know, doing any kind of work for anyone, I always, once I feel the presence of my ancestors, then I know it's okay to move on. If I'm trying to help someone and my ancestors, they tell me, no, like this is not the time, and it's a resonance, right? That this isn't the time, then I gotta respect that. If they tell me not to leave home, I gotta respect that, whatever it is. And when I tell you they protect me, like they literally protect all aspects of my life. They walk with me, they talk through me. Even doing shadow work, medium work, I am a true seer. So it's a beautiful thing. That's the thing about life. You just never know what tomorrow's gonna bring. Yeah.
Okay, a little bit about your spiritual gifts. Do you believe that they can skip a generation or lie dormant in people?
They can skip generations, most definitely. Especially if you're not in tune or aligned with the universe. You'll always just feel like, oh my God, I just have nothing but bad luck. But if you're not in line with the universe, then God is spiritual.
Yeah.
God is spiritual. So he's a spiritual entity. He's our creator. Even calling him God is like a low blow, because if he can create space, if he can create all these planets, including the moon, right? Because the moon just got here. So if he can create all this, and that means he can create gods. He can create gods. So calling him a god is, to me, it's kind of like undermining him, should I say, or it. They always use the Bible for a him terminology because it's about control. And back then, even to this day, women are trying to fight for their rights, but back then, women couldn't fight for their rights. So I believe they just put him as our greatest creator. They titled it a name, but I believe in our creator. When I speak to atheists, when I speak to Buddhisms, when I whoever it is, I respect their faith, because in today's time, some people do need faith, because without it, they will destruct their own self. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you believe like spiritual gifts are inherited, earned, or activated through trauma?
I wouldn't say spiritual gifts are activated through trauma. If you have a spiritual gift, you just do. I understand people are like, oh, the chakras or your third eye, things like that is way deeper than that. So being born with a spiritual gift, have you ever seen The Sixth Sense?
Yes.
Okay, that is a ability. That is a spiritual ability. So it's a difference. Anybody can go through their chakras and meditate, right? A a lot of people can. I won't say everybody, but a lot of people can, like, actually tune in with their chakras, right? But when you have a spiritual ability, that's something from our creator, because we are more aligned with Mother Nature, right? They call it Mother Nature, Mother Earth, the land of the sea, the land of the law, right? So we're in tune all the way around, but you have to keep your work up. Yeah.
And what does that look like, keeping your work up?
Like I said, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Sometimes I don't feel like meditating. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't feel like meditating, but when the universe talks to me, and I gotta go and meditate for about 15, 20 minutes. Like, you don't, you're just not gonna, you'll become imbalanced. Should I say, you'll become imbalanced. Even as a woman, have you ever went through, like, let's say a breakup or just a death or just whatever the case may be, you feel unbalanced. You feel imbalanced. That's why women have intuitions, right? It's not a coincidence that women have intuitions. You just got to get yourself, get balanced, stop fucking, right? And just be in tune with yourself so that way you can prosper. Abstinence.
Right. So you say, well, we're gonna talk about that later. So you, let's move to another sector in your life. You've lived very close to different forms of power, public, financial, masculine, and social. You've dated someone in the NBA, which pushed you.
Hey, how did you know that?
I did my research. So yeah, they push you close to fame, elite masculinity.
Yeah.
How did that experience shape your understanding of relationships?
Well, one of them I met on a show when we did Law and Order, not Selena, Law and Order, and I didn't know this one was a football player. I didn't know he was a football player because I don't watch football. I don't watch basketball. I stopped doing that when Jordan, he quit for the second time. But how can I equip myself with dealing with the masculinity?
No, I would say, how did that experience shape your understanding of relationships and power?
Let me put it like this. When you're illuminated, and you understand, a lot of people won't understand that, but once you're illuminated, you see things that other people don't. There are a lot of people that would do anything to get what they want in life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you saw through those experiences, dating those people?
2 out of 3, yes. Yeah. 2 out of 3, yes. But everything is beautiful when it comes to, like, my ex, like, when he cheated on me, he gave me a little check and then went about his way, because we're still friends, don't get me wrong. But yeah, that's exactly what he did. I mean, I've never been married. It's not like we had a prenup or anything like that. But he knew that he was wrong, and so he I guess paid how he weighed and just went ahead and minded his own business. I was hurt behind it, but I mean, what can you do when they get drunk and fucked up and all this shit? Like, they don't even remember the last night, So until it's told to them, that's how I found out he was cheating. Yeah.
I would say it's sort of risky, because they do have freedom and access to a lot of women.
Yeah, they have a lot of freedom. I was always on the manifest. Like, I don't even have a passport, to be honest with you. I don't have a passport, but I've been everywhere. So yeah, I mean, it has good and bad, It's good. It's all good. You learn a lesson in every relationship.
So you've spoken about your father's involvement in the drug world. How did that shape your worldview?
I thought it was normal. I thought it was normal until I got about 14 years old, and my mom sat me down and was like, you know what? Like, this is gonna stop. I'm like, what's gonna stop? Like, because everywhere I live, like where I lived at, there was nothing but drug mules or, you know, whatever, whatnot. Like, when I was 18, I used to be a runner. Do you know what a runner is?
Yeah, but go ahead and explain to it.
A runner, I was running. I used to be a runner. I used to go to Progreso. I used to go to Monterrey. I used to go to Boys Town, and I was a runner. So they wouldn't expect a young girl to have 60, 70 kilos in the back of a U-Haul truck. So yeah, that was when I was younger. And back then I would get paid weekly. And that was a lot of money back then. So it had its good times. I never been to jail, anything like that for it. I was young. Yeah.
So how do you think like that shape your mindset on like going out there and getting it and survival in general, I guess?
That was survival. That is survival. Is there generational wealth? Yeah, there is.
Comes with that?
It's a lot of generational wealth. My dad got hotels, got nice hotels. Last time I heard, he had a casino. So, you know, it's generational wealth, but he knows I love him, but I don't want no parts of what's going on with my brothers. I just want them to get a goddamn girlfriend or wife and settle down and stop doing this shit.
Yeah. So let's go back to the ancestors. When you were doing your work with your ancestors, do they ever disagree with each other?
It's not about them disagreeing with each other. It's about what spirit I let in.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I'm doing my work, I can. When you allow a spirit to come through you, you're already protected. So you already have to be protected. But once you allow a spirit to come through you, that is a spirit that is for you. Unless you don't know what you're doing, you can let a goddamn demon in you, right? So at that point, you're in balance because you're not really doing anything to protect yourself from demons. Now, when I got to go there, you understand, then I will pray to Baal and in the universe, because the only way you go fight a demon and win is with the demon or with Satan himself. So you can check that. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you confused? You look confused.
No, I was gonna ask, what do you say to people who think that this is wicked or evil or Satan worship?
They can think whatever they want to think, honey. Because guess what? This is what I'm talking about is rituals. When you go to church every Sunday, that is a ritual. When you are celebrating pagan holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving, those are rituals. And people, they can think whatever they want to think. And I'm pretty sure the chat's going to be like, oh, well, Jesus is Lord. And Jesus was a man, okay? He was a man. And from from the ancient tablets, so was his grandmother. So when you start doing pagan holidays and putting trees, because I do know the Bible does say, do not bring any trees or gold, right, into the house. Do you understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when you do that, you're going against your own faith. When you tell somebody to go to hell instead of praying for them, you're going against your own belief system. And yeah, so it's a lot of contradictory and a lot of everything, even when it comes to, but you know what, it doesn't really even shock me. It's kind of entertaining because the Vatican wrote the Bible, and just last year they opened the 12 holy doors, and one was like a ball. So when they opened that and they were drinking real blood in front of everybody, these are the people who wrote the Bible. Because before then, all of our ancestors worshiped the universe, then worshiped the sun. Do you understand? So when you see that cross and there's the little circle behind it, that is the Son of God that walks on water, that, you know, does all that. Well, that will be returning. Of course it's going to return, because if it doesn't, we'll be dead. We'll be dead. There will be no life. You understand? So, like I said, everything is metaphorically written in the Bible. The scribers of the Bible are pedophiles, especially Deuteronomy. Like, y'all need to, when you are so involved with your faith, you have to understand that you need to look up who are these scribers that's writing these Bibles. Why is there an Old and a New Testament when it should be just one story? That's why it's called the greatest story ever told. But people are not looking at it metaphorically. Once you do that, you will understand, oh, he was in the belly of the whale because guess what? He was going to conquer. He was going to, you know, like be humble throughout the storm. See, people are not understanding that part, you know? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to witches, no one likes witches until they need us. Yes.
So, have you ever uncovered anything in your lineage that was hard to accept?
Yeah. I don't want to say anything out of pocket, so can you elaborate on your question?
So yeah, during your work, have your ancestors ever revealed to you about somebody?
I see them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whenever I have an OBE, which is an out-of-body experience, mm-hmm. that's when you get deep in it. You put on some music and you cannot allow the music to distract you, whatever the case may be. Because the more you get into depth with your work, your shadow work, whatever the case may be, you can have an out-of-body experience, and you can see them. I see my ancestors all the time. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, so in doing your work, do you work with everyone, or do you have like a criteria when accepting clients?
Like, I have spiritual advisors. And no, I don't work with everybody. You can feel energy. So no, I don't work with everyone. But if someone needs assistance for their home and there's things going on in their home that they're embarrassed to talk to people about, that's why I come in the picture. Okay. So as soon as I walk into the home, I'm going to feel that energy. Is it you guys or is it the spiritual world? Mm-hmm. You have to decipher the two. Mm-hmm. And if it's the people that are still alive, I would let them know, hey, A, B, C, D, and E, y'all doing too much. So, yeah.
So, in that case, what are they doing too much?
They're playing with the Ouija boards. They playing with tarot cards when you have no, if you don't protect yourself with playing with tarot cards, yes, you can have a spiritual attack.
So what part of your work do people romanticize?
Romanticize?
Yeah, but wouldn't last.
They're like, they fancy me?
Yeah, because you see shows, ghost hunters on TV.
Yeah, that's why I gave a shout out to Amy Allen. That's my girl. I've traveled off the Travel Channel. I don't want to talk about that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what does this work cost you emotionally and spiritually?
It's draining. The energy is very draining. Whenever you're doing any kind of work, if it's when being a seer and you just like meditating, the energy will, it feels like you've been in the gym for about 4 hours. You're tired. You can meditate. See, people think you have to sit on the floor and meditate. Like, you can meditate in your bed, you can meditate in the airplane. You know what I mean? You can meditate anywhere and go into space and just voila, it's beautiful. Yeah, so, but you have to be aligned with the universe. You have to be humbled and aligned within yourself.
How does sexuality interact with spiritual power?
You pray before you have sex. Yeah. Before you're with anybody, before you lie down with anyone, you have to make sure you're aligned with that person. So I'm humbled with being abstinent until I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're abstinent? How long have you been abstinent?
A while. No, it's not a while. Probably since like October.
Okay.
But I've gone a year and a half being abstinent. It's not a hard thing to do. Once you are aligned spiritually, you will know. And if a man wants you, then he would understand, you know, like if you have intercourse with someone that's not aligned with themselves, those entities, you know what that person is dealing with, right? So those entities and those bodies that she or this guy has been dealing with, like they attach themselves to you. You understand what I mean? So they attach themselves to you. So when you have sex with someone randomly, just because they're fuckable, then it's going to be an imbalance within your life and in your body. Yeah.
How should I word this? So are there any could you talk more like on incubus and succubus and how they relate to the spiritual world?
They don't.
They don't?
No.
So what are they?
It depends on that person. It just depends on that person. If you follow your own path, you would understand that it doesn't relate to it. It doesn't relate to any of that. You are your own God. And you have, you know, the DNA, your DNA strands, it goes back to alien. It goes back to alien. We are all ancestors of aliens as well. I mean, we came from somewhere, and besides Poseidon, which was a god, a black god, they portray him as white. But when it comes to aligning yourself, that has nothing to do with anything.
Okay. Are there ghosts that will have sex with people?
I've had sex with a spirit before.
What was that like?
I mean, I didn't get pregnant, no. No, but I've had sex with a spirit twice. And he came through my dreams. I believe he was my husband in my former life because of the feeling that I got. Like it was too comfortable. It was too, you know, I don't touch everybody. I just don't, because I just don't touch anybody. But in my dream, he came in my dream, and let me tell you, when I got up, yeah, I mean, it was there. It was there.
Was it good?
It was great. It was great.
So were you you were asleep when it happened? You said it was
I was asleep when it happened. Then one time I was awake. I was in the shower. Yeah.
So what is that experience like? It's just something that comes over?
It's just something that comes. And sometimes you can ask a spirit to come through your body, and that'll happen that way too. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I can't explain it, but I do believe he was my soulmate in a different life.
Oh.
He was very handsome. I will say that.
Okay. So can sexual partners affect someone's spiritual clarity long term?
Can sexual partners
interfere with someone's spiritual clarity?
Oh, most definitely.
Like in long-term relationships too?
Have you ever heard of a person being together with whoever for like 10, 15 years? Soon as they get married, it's gone, right? Mm-hmm. It's gone. So And that just lets you know that marriage and the sacred of vows is real, right? So if your partner isn't, like I said, once again, aligned with you, then it's done. I don't care how much you love that person. You can try over and over and over, it's not gonna work. You're gonna be miserable trying to love somebody that is not giving that same effort that you feel. They're not trying to hear you. That's where the confusion of communication comes in. It's gonna be some kind of confusion because you will never be aligned. You will never be balanced. And that's probably why I haven't been married, but I will.
Yeah, that is something, like, to balance that. So, like, you say a lot about being aligned. So what are some practices that people can do together to align themselves?
To start, you know, they need to learn their chakras. That's just the beginning part of it. They need to learn their chakras. They need to learn themselves. They have to be by themselves. They need to detach from the world and just become like almost an introvert. I'm an introvert, so I really don't like going anywhere. But become like almost an introvert, like a fucking monk. Do you understand? And yeah, so they need to be by themselves. That's the only way you're gonna learn yourself. That's the only way you're gonna educate yourself about being aligned with the spiritual world. If people say they believe in God, our creator, and they know that there is Baal, which is Satan, right? That means you know that there is good and evil. So you can't say, oh, I believe in God, but I don't believe in the devil. Like, what? How can you not believe when every time you fuck up in life, you blame him? Do you understand what I mean? So, yeah. So people need to acknowledge there is, like Jordan Maxwell said, and it'll never like clear out of my mind. There's good, you take the O out, that spells God. Dog spelled backwards, right? And then there's evil, you put a D in front of it, that's devil, right? Which was constructed purposely for the Bible, purposely to construct people's minds, like to not understand the Bible. Many Christians that I know do not understand the Bible, but they go by the pastor's passages that he understands or wants to manipulate in his own words. Okay, you know, give offering, you know, like I said my little passage, you know, whatever. But it's just the truth. You can't be judgmental and be a Christian. You can't be judgmental and be Buddhism. You can't do that. If that's your faith, then stick to that. Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, give me a second. So what's one lie in spirituality that needs to die?
I'm sorry?
What's one lie in spirituality that needs to die?
What's one lie in spirituality that needs to die? Well, Moses in the burning bush. It was a lot of witchcraft in the Bible. A lot of witchcraft going on. So, you know, they need to tell the truth on how Moses burned in that bush. Yeah, Moses was getting it in with that aroma and the incense. You know what I mean? Sage. That wasn't no burning bush. That was sage. And how in the world did somebody know, if it was only them two there, that he was just talking to God? He was talking to our creator. Do you understand? Basically, it is a metaphor. They need to take these metaphors out and get the ancient tablets of Tibet, of the Sumerian tablets. They need to actually tell the truth. You know, when you got people like Billy Carson, Jordan Maxwell, even 19 Keys, when they're telling these, telling people, well, you know, hey, this is actually what it meant. You have to understand that. You know, us as adults need to look through that, see through, filter the BS from what's real, because I don't trust the Vatican, period. So I think one myth, the Vatican is a strong myth. You understand? Like they hold the true stories in their basement. Yeah.
Why do you think they are doing this? Why do they benefit from
Just
keeping
like
this
they
from
used,
us?
just like they kill people that took pictures of aliens back in the 80s, the 70s, the 90s. The government will kill these people behind a picture. So why now tell us there's aliens that existed? Oh, okay, that means my great uncle died for nothing, right? It's all a government shadow cover up. That's what it is, and they don't want anybody to know until they pop up and actually say, yeah, we really exist. They weren't ready for that. Star Wars. Do you remember that? Just last year we had a real Star Wars. So, you know, they had the military against the aliens, and they were shooting us down every time. Baby, we cannot win on them. Of course they're going to visit their homeland, which is Earth.
So, do you believe that we're living in a simulation?
As above, so below. They want to say the clouds and the sky is blue for this reason. But if you look into ancient astral theology, it's actually an ocean above us. That's why it rains. That's why the color is blue. You understand what I mean? It's not because of precipitation. It's because it's an ocean up there. As above, so below.
So, what does waking up mean to you?
Waking up,
Yes.
you see you're filtering through the BS and you're trying to figure it out. That's what I feel like waking up means.
What happens when someone wakes up too fast?
Oh, that can happen. When you wake up too fast, you get dizzy, right?
Right.
All right. So you wake up too fast. I don't believe there. You can't wake up too fast, though. You know, you have a lineage here, then you have a lineage here, then you got the, you know, they haven't talked about the equator, but when you put those two together, then you can't unsee it. You understand? So when you wake up too fast, you can't unsee it. Yeah.
You don't think people go into spiritual psychosis or they have illusions of the reality, I guess?
It's not illusions, it's the real thing. Yeah, it's the real thing. Like, there's no illusions when it comes to that. Yeah, if that's the case, then I'm nuts. Am I nuts?
I don't think so.
I need some nuts.
So, how does your understanding of God, the universe, Most High shape your work?
Shape my work?
Yeah.
Beautifully. Our Creator is the reason that I have this gift, that I have this ability. It's not a disability, it is an ability. You know, when you are able to help take attachments off people, when you can help children understand themselves, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful ability to have, you know. So
what truth do you think people avoid because it requires responsibility when dealing with spirituality?
You said what?
What truth do you think, what truth do you think people avoid because it requires responsibility when dealing with this?
They try to avoid the fact of entities really do exist. Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Because it's scary, I guess, to them?
I mean, it can be scary because of movies they've watched. So that mean they, so that's all that is. Yeah.
It shaped their view.
It shaped their whole reality on being just, they want you to, they want your third eye closed. They want you to believe, oh, this is that, you know, poltergeist and all this other stuff. What did poltergeist bring in? They brought in a witch to bring him back from, you know, but you're supposed to go to the light. You're not supposed to go away from the light. When you go away from the light, like when you, let's say I die tomorrow, my body, this corpse die, right? But my energy will live. You understand? So you never really just die, because energy is always protected no matter what, you know. So it's like a recycle, you know, thing for anyone, you know.
Is fear this system's greatest tool of control?
Is what?
Is fear this system's greatest tool of control?
Fear?
Yeah.
What do you mean, fear?
Fear.
Oh, fear. I'm like, what does this fear have to do with it? Of course, they manipulate and control your mind through fear, and through the Bible, and through politics. Red wing, blue wing, same goddamn bird.
Yeah. So, what message feels most important for people listening right now?
I mean, if it was me, I would just tell them, and they're conflicted on their spiritual path, I would just tell them to listen to their heart. Listen to their heart and a sound mind. Just listen to that. Because if you don't, you're always going to be lost. You can't go beat your wife and go to the Catholic Church and ask the Pope for peace and forgiveness, and then give them some money, then go back home and beat your wife again. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Like, you need your own inner peace, spirituality, and then you can start your humble beginnings. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have for you today.
Well, thank you.
Oh, and for anybody out there that want to get in contact with you, could you let them know how they can?
Yeah, y'all can hit me up at Bella Island Doll on Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube, Unfiltered Bella Media. Yeah, that's my new page, Unfiltered Bella Media.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.